everybody. We're here with the Van Show talking to my friend, Judd Winick. Say hi, Judd.
How are you, sir?
I'm
It's good to be
doing
here. Thank you for having me.
Well, hot dog, let's do a high five right off.
Boom!
Boom, there we go. All right. Now, Judd, we want to know about you. So tell us, where are you from?
I am from San Francisco, California, the greatest city in the whole wide world.
Wow. Okay, well, with that kind of endorsement, we need to know, what do you love most about San Francisco?
I love the fact that no one in San Francisco is actually from San Francisco.
Huh.
We all come from someplace else.
Now, Judd, you're an illustrator and a writer.
Yeah.
How early on did you start illustrating and writing?
I've been, well, we all drew when we were kids, right?
Yeah, of course.
And at some point, we stopped. But I didn't. I kept right on going. And I always wanted to be a cartoonist since I was little. So it was just a natural just chain of events. I just kept right on going.
Did you have any inspirations yet as a young age to keep going with illustrating?
Yeah, I would say three things. One, my mom and dad, who never ever told me that I couldn't be a cartoonist. You know, it's not a job that one thinks like, oh, you're gonna break the bank. There's a lot of security in that. They never told me I couldn't be a cartoonist. So that was, for starters, my mom and dad. Second, I fell in love with Garfield when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I thought it was the greatest thing in the whole world. It just cracked me up.
Yep.
And after Garfield, I graduated to a comic strip called Bloom County by Burke Breathitt, which came back recently. So mom and dad, Garfield, Bloom County. Those are the three things that kind of really made me a cartoonist.
Wow. And then at what point did you go, I'm doing this for a living? Like, and you actually got something published?
Well, I always felt I was gonna do it for a living. I mean, I remember talking to my mom when I was, I don't know, like 12, and explained to her that I promised to finish school. That when I became a professional cartoonist, I'll finish school, Mom. Don't worry. She said, yeah, okay, that's good of you. Good. But the very first time I got published, I was 14 years old, and I was doing my own single panel comic strip called Nuts and Bolts. And my dad, being my dad, looked at it and said, you know what, this is great, and I think it should be published. So he took it to the local paper, which was the Long Islander, went to the publisher and said, listen, my son does this comic strip, I think it's very good, I think you guys should publish it. And the publisher said, you know what, I think we will. So when I was 14, the Long Islander started publishing my single panel comic strip once a week. They paid me $5 a week.
Whoa.
And I was ecstatic.
I bet.
Yeah.
And now you do lots of different illustrations and writing. You write for comic books for adults and for kids, is that correct?
Yeah, for about, I don't know, 10 or 12 years, I wrote superhero comics for DC. Guys like Green Lantern and Green Arrow and Batman. And that was for actually like about 12 years.
Wow.
And then I got back to, I kind of came full circle. I did comic strips for a long time. I did an animated series for a while, so I was always writing and drawing. Then I wrote superhero comics for over a decade, and now I've sort of come back around to like the all ages books, which is what HiLow is.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And before we get to HiLow, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the superheroes.
Yeah.
So you wrote a lot of Batman books.
I did.
Did you read Batman as a kid? Or
yeah.
Okay. And so what did it feel like when you got your first job writing for Batman?
It's the craziest thing you could ever possibly imagine. The first book I was working on was Green Lantern, and I intentionally wanted to put Batman in it because he's Batman.
Of course.
And when you're there at the keyboard and you're typing like Batman, and then you type the words that are going to come out of Batman's mouth, it's bananas. It's a weird, weird, wonderful feeling like I'm making Batman do things that's going to be in a comic book. Oh my God. So,
at any point while you were doing that, did you ever look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm Batman?
No, but there's many, many things I'll say just as dumb. I'm writing the book, so it's like, you know, it's just as dumb.
That's awesome.
But it's fun. I highly recommend the experience to everybody. If you ever get a chance to write your superhero comics, do it.
Man, all right, so let's talk about HiLow.
Yeah.
And before we talk about HiLow, I want to talk, you have a website for HiLow.
Yes.
Called Judd's Pillow Fort.
Yes. Can
you please explain what you mean by Pillow Fort and why you called it Pillow Fort?
Because Pillow Forts are awesome. I just like the idea of it. I called the website Judd's Pillow Fort because I like the idea that when you're a kid, there's nothing simpler or more fun than taking apart the couch, making a fort, and crawling inside there and, you know, being by yourself and doing your thing and bringing toys with you or bringing books with you, and maybe you can invite someone else in. And the motto of the website is like, don't get scared because we can always kick our way out. I just like the idea of it. There's nothing more like being a kid than making a big pillow fort.
Absolutely.
You know, when grown-ups are making a pillow fort, they're remembering what it's like being a kid.
That's so great. And so now we have the HiLow series. And how
Yeah.
many books are in this series right now?
Yes.
No, how many books are in the series?
There's 4 books are out now. There are going to be a total of 6 in this first major big story arc. And then we're going to do a whole new HiLow story with book 7 and on. So it's going to be an ongoing series.
Excellent. So
I'll do 1 book a year, and pretty much until I die. That's the plan.
So great.
Up until death.
So now I want to hear a little bit about this one, but I want you to try to pitch it as if it's already been made into a film, and you're doing the trailer for it.
In a world where a boy is lonely, in a world where he's got overachieving family, and you see the overachieving family around him.
Oh, okay.
It's like, he will find a friend, and there'll be like a ball of fire come out of the sky and crash down in his backyard. Whoa. He runs over to the crater, and we've had like dark and sort of sad music up until now, and he goes over to the crater, and like suddenly it picks way up.
No.
Maybe like if we did this like 20 years ago, it'd be Salisbury Hill.
Okay.
Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel. He made music at one point.
And he dressed up like a flower.
Yeah, there you go. And then HiLow pops out, and he's like, he's got no clothes on except silver underpants.
Of course.
And that's how the trailer.
This is HiLow. So is HiLow inspired by superheroes?
Yeah, I mean, from several different directions. About 5 years ago, my son, he was 7, and oddly enough, on topic, he really wanted to read my Batman comics, but he was 7, and I'd explain to him like, my Batman comics. No, you may not read my Batman comics because they're kind of made for older kids and grown-ups. So I went looking around for a comic book series that would be good for him because he wanted to read comics. The comics aren't so much for kids anymore. So I got him Jeff Smith's Bone.
Oh, yeah.
Which is an amazing series which he loves. I happen to know Jeff Smith, the cartoonist who does Bone. I told Jeff my son went bananas for Bone, and then he said, great, that's awesome, I'm gonna send you guys something. He sent us 2 gigantic boxes of merchandise.
Whoa.
So we had t-shirts and hats and action figures and posters, and my son became a Bone super fan. And I got jealous.
Uh-oh.
I figured, I'm a cartoonist, I should do something that he loves as much as he loves Bone. So kind of culling together everything I've done from like an animated series to like comic strips to superhero comics, I kind of put it all in one basket. And that's what kind of what HiLow is. I mean, it's drawn goofy because that's the way I draw. I draw like it's a comic strip. I like lots of jokes like it's a comic strip or an animated series. But it's a superhero story. He's got a costume pretty much. He's got sidekicks, which are his buddies, and it's an ongoing story. There's a bad guy. It's serialized, so it is pretty much the culmination of all the stuff I've done, but now here, and I get to write and draw it in my basement, which is awesome.
That's so great. Wow. Now, Judd, thank you for bringing your book on and talking to us. Do you want to play a game with me?
I would love to play a game with you.
You would?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to draw a portrait of me.
Yeah.
Because I've got a very small ego.
Yes.
And I want you to do it with your non-dominant hand.
Oh,
for the kids at home, non-dominant means the hand you don't usually write or draw with.
Okay. All right.
Are you ready for this?
I'm in.
And you've got a 30-second time limit.
Oh, okay. Say when.
Go. Well, Judd, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. It was my pleasure
Can
to be
we do a
here,
high five?
sir. Boom.
Boom. There we go. Goodbye.
Bye. So long. Be well.